Welcome back to Wisdom, the Narrow Way. You know, in the vast cosmic arena, humanity faces countless challenges and opportunities. From deciphering the mysteries of the universe to navigating the complexities of our own planet, one skill stands out as paramount: critical thinking. Today, we'll be exploring this essential tool for navigating our complex world. We'll delve into strategies to enhance your critical thinking abilities, apply them to modern problems, and discuss the benefits and potential pitfalls of ignoring these strategies. Critical thinking is the art of analyzing and evaluating information to make reasoned decisions. It's about asking the right questions and being open to changing your mind when presented with new evidence. In a world saturated with information, discerning fact from fiction is more crucial than ever. So buckle up, fellow space travelers, as we embark on this journey to sharpen our minds and empower ourselves with the ability to think clearly, critically, and effectively. Let's dive into some strategies to improve this crucial skill. Number 1. Our journey into the cosmos of critical thinking begins with a fundamental principle: questioning assumptions. We all harbor assumptions, preconceived notions about the world that shape our perceptions and influence our decisions. These assumptions can stem from our upbringing, cultural background, personal experiences, or even the information we consume. While some assumptions might be harmless, others can lead us down a path of flawed reasoning and misguided conclusions. Imagine building a spacecraft based on assumptions about the vacuum of space. If we assume the wrong atmospheric pressure, we risk catastrophic failure. Similarly, in our daily lives, unquestioned assumptions can lead to misunderstandings, conflicts, and poor decision-making. Therefore, the first step towards critical thinking is to cultivate a healthy skepticism towards our own beliefs. We must learn to recognize and challenge our assumptions, not to dismiss them outright, but to examine their validity. Let's consider a hypothetical scenario. A team of brilliant minds at a tech startup is developing a cutting-edge mobile application. They pour their hearts and souls into the project, meticulously crafting every detail of the user interface and user experience. However, they make a critical assumption. They assume their target audience values minimalistic design above all else. Confident in their assumption, they launch their app with great fanfare. But to their dismay, the app falls flat. Users find it confusing, lacking essential features, and frustrating to navigate. The development team is baffled. What went wrong? They soon realize their critical error. They failed to question their initial assumption. By assuming their users preferred minimalist design, they neglected to conduct thorough market research and gather user feedback. Had they questioned their assumption, they would have discovered that their target audience actually craved more features, customization options, and a visually engaging interface. This cautionary tale underscores the importance of questioning assumptions. Number 2, in today's digital age, we are bombarded with an overwhelming deluge of information from countless sources, each vying for our attention and often leaving us feeling inundated and confused. News websites, social media platforms, blogs, podcasts, and online forums compete for our attention, each offering their own version of the truth, their own spin on events, and their own interpretation of facts. This constant influx of information can be both a blessing and a curse, providing us with endless opportunities to learn while simultaneously overwhelming us. On the one hand, we have access to more knowledge than ever before with just a few clicks or taps. On the other hand, this abundance of information makes it challenging to discern fact from fiction, truth from falsehood, and reliable sources from unreliable ones. It's like trying to navigate a vast cosmic ocean without a compass or a map, where every direction seems equally plausible, yet potentially misleading. This is where the second pillar of critical thinking comes into play: evaluating sources, a crucial skill in our information-saturated world. Not all sources of information are created equal, and recognizing this is the first step towards becoming a discerning consumer of information. Some are reliable and trustworthy, while others are biased, inaccurate, or downright misleading, often with hidden agendas or commercial interests. To navigate this information landscape effectively, we must develop the ability to critically evaluate the sources we encounter, questioning their motives and credibility. We need to ask ourselves, who created this information? What is their purpose? Are they trying to inform, persuade, or sell something? What evidence do they provide to support their claims? Is it based on solid research, anecdotal evidence, or mere speculation? Imagine scrolling through your social media feed and stumbling upon a post sharing a remarkable health tip, one that seems almost too good to be true. The post claims that consuming a certain exotic fruit daily can boost your immune system and protect you from various ailments, promising miraculous benefits. Intrigued, You're tempted to share this newfound wisdom with your friends and family, eager to spread the word. But before you hit the share button, pause for a moment and consider the source, reflecting on its credibility and reliability. Is this information coming from a reputable medical institution, a peer-reviewed scientific journal, or a trusted health organization? These sources are typically more reliable and have a reputation to uphold. Or is it from an anonymous blog, a random social media user, or a website trying to sell you a miracle cure? These sources often lack credibility and may have ulterior motives. The credibility of the source can make all the difference, influencing whether the information is trustworthy or dubious. If the information originates from a source with no scientific credentials or a history of promoting misinformation, it's best to approach it with a healthy dose of skepticism, questioning its validity and seeking further verification. On the other hand, if the information comes from a source known for its accuracy, objectivity, and commitment to evidence-based information, you can be more confident in its reliability, trusting that it has been vetted and verified by experts. This simple act of evaluating the source can save you from falling prey to misinformation and making decisions based on faulty information, which can have serious consequences. Evaluating sources is not just about scrutinizing every piece of information we come across, but about developing a habit of critical thinking. It's about developing a discerning eye for credibility and reliability, honing our ability to separate the wheat from the chaff. It's about cultivating a healthy information diet that nourishes our minds with accurate and trustworthy knowledge, avoiding the junk food of misinformation. To strengthen this skill, pay close attention to the author's credentials, their expertise, and their track record. The publication date, outdated information can be misleading, ensuring the information is current and relevant, and whether other credible sources support the information presented, providing a consensus or corroboration. Cross-referencing information from multiple sources helps ensure you're getting a well-rounded perspective, reducing the risk of bias. Remember, the information we consume shapes our understanding of the world, influencing our beliefs, attitudes, and actions. By choosing our sources wisely and evaluating them critically, we empower ourselves to make informed decisions, engage in meaningful conversations, and navigate the complexities of our information-rich world with confidence and clarity. In this way, we can become more discerning consumers of information, better equipped to handle the challenges of the digital age. Number 3, have you ever watched a magic show and wondered, how did they do that? The magician uses misdirection, leading your attention away from the trick. Well, in the world of arguments and debates, there's a similar kind of sleight of hand going on, and it's called a logical fallacy. These fallacies are like the magician's tricks, designed to deceive and mislead. These fallacies are flaws in reasoning, often subtle, that can make an argument seem persuasive, even though it's based on shaky ground. Just like a magician might pull a rabbit from a hat, someone using a fallacy tries to pull a fast one on your brain. They rely on your lack of attention to detail and your trust in the speaker's authority or charisma. Now, you don't need to be a master magician to spot these fallacies. Once you understand the common types, you'll start to see them everywhere in political speeches, advertisements, even everyday conversations. And that's when you'll be able to say, hold on a minute, that argument doesn't hold water. You'll begin to question the validity of the claims being made and demand more substantial evidence. You'll see through the illusion and demand better, more logical reasoning. Your critical thinking skills will sharpen, and you'll become more adept at dissecting arguments and identifying their weaknesses. So, what are some of these common logical fallacies to watch out for? One is the ad hominem fallacy. Imagine a scientist presents groundbreaking research on climate change, only to be dismissed because someone attacks their character saying, well, they're a bit eccentric, aren't they? This tactic diverts attention from the actual evidence and focuses on irrelevant personal traits. That's attacking the person, not the science. It's a distraction that prevents a meaningful discussion about the actual issue at hand. Then there's the straw man fallacy, where someone misrepresents their opponent's argument to make it easier to attack. It's like setting up a straw man target instead of facing the real opponent. This tactic simplifies the argument, making it easier to refute without addressing the actual complexities. They might say, you want to reduce carbon emissions, so you just want to shut down the entire economy then? That's not a fair representation of the argument. It's an oversimplification that ignores the nuances and potential solutions that don't involve such extreme measures. Don't forget the false dichotomy fallacy, where you're presented with only two options, when in reality there might be many more possibilities. It's like saying you're either with us or against us, ignoring any middle ground. This black and white thinking limits the scope of the discussion and forces a false choice. These are just a few examples, and there are many more, but the key takeaway is this. By familiarizing yourself with these fallacies, you become a savvier consumer of information, less likely to be swayed by faulty reasoning. You'll be better equipped to navigate the complex landscape of arguments and debates, making more informed decisions. Think of it this way. Every time you identify a logical fallacy, it's like doing a mental push-up. You're strengthening your critical thinking muscles, and just like any muscle, the more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Over time, you'll find it easier to spot these fallacies and challenge them effectively. Start paying attention to the arguments you encounter in your daily life. Are they based on sound logic and evidence, or are they riddled with fallacies? Challenge yourself to identify the flaws in reasoning, to see through the smoke and mirrors. This practice will enhance your ability to think critically and make well-reasoned decisions. Remember, recognizing logical fallacies isn't about being a nitpicky know-it-all. It's about becoming a more discerning thinker, capable of making decisions based on reason and evidence, not on manipulation or trickery. It's about striving for intellectual honesty and integrity in your thought processes. So go forth, my friends, and become fallacy detectives. The world needs more critical thinkers like you. By honing your skills in identifying logical fallacies, you contribute to a more rational and informed society. Your efforts can inspire others to think more critically and engage in more meaningful discussions. Number 4, we humans are social creatures. We thrive on interaction, on the exchange of ideas and emotions. We love to surround ourselves with like-minded individuals, folks who share our values, our beliefs, even our favorite sports teams. It creates a sense of belonging, a sense of community. And while there's comfort in that shared experience, it can also lead to a phenomenon we call the echo chamber effect, where our own views are constantly reinforced. Imagine yourself in a room with walls made of mirrors. Everywhere you look, you see your own reflection. Your voice, your ideas, they just bounce back at you, amplified, reinforced, but never challenged, never questioned. That's the echo chamber. It's a place where growth is stunted. And while it might feel good initially, who doesn't like to be right all the time? It can trap us in a bubble of limited perspective, making us blind to other possibilities. We risk becoming intellectually stagnant, closed off to the vast ocean of ideas that exist beyond our immediate circle. The world is so much bigger than our own experiences. Now, I'm not suggesting we engage in endless arguments or surround ourselves with people who constantly disagree. That would be exhausting and counterproductive. But consider this, some of the greatest leaps in science, in art, in civilization itself have come from challenging the status quo, from considering perspectives that initially seemed counterintuitive. It's in these moments of challenge that true innovation happens. Think about Copernicus, daring to suggest that the Earth revolves around the Sun, defying centuries of established geocentric belief. His courage to think differently changed our understanding of the universe. Or imagine Darwin presenting his theory of evolution, a concept that shook the foundations of our understanding of life itself. His willingness to explore new ideas opened up new realms of scientific inquiry. These pioneers, and countless others like them, dared to venture outside the echo chamber to engage with diverse perspectives. And in doing so, they expanded the very frontiers of human knowledge. They showed us the power of diverse thinking. So how do we break free from our own echo chambers? How do we ensure we're not trapped in our own limited viewpoints? It starts with conscious effort, with actively seeking out perspectives that differ from our own. It requires a willingness to step out of our comfort zones. Engage in conversations with people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different walks of life. Each interaction is an opportunity to learn something new. Read books and articles that challenge your preconceived notions. Let your mind be a sponge, absorbing diverse ideas. Listen to podcasts that present a spectrum of viewpoints. The more varied the perspectives, the richer your understanding will be. Don't shy away from respectful disagreement. Embrace it as an opportunity for growth and deeper understanding. It's through these discussions that we refine our own ideas. Remember, the goal isn't to change your mind necessarily, but to expand it, to enrich it with the tapestry of human experience and thought. It's about broadening your horizons. Because in the grand cosmic scheme of things, a diversity of perspectives is essential for progress, for innovation, and for a more enlightened future. Together we can achieve so much more. Number 5, in the vast expanse of space and time, we humans have an incredible capacity for introspection, for looking back at our own journeys and learning from our experiences. This, my friends, is the power of reflective thinking. It's not simply about dwelling on the past, but about mining it for valuable insights, for understanding what worked, what didn't, and why. Think of it as analyzing the data from the experiment of your own life. Every decision we make, every action we take leaves a footprint on the path we're walking, and by taking the time to examine those footprints, we gain invaluable wisdom to guide our future steps. Now, none of us are immune to making mistakes. In fact, I'd argue that mistakes are an essential part of the learning process, but the key is to not let those mistakes simply fade into the background noise of our lives. Reflective thinking encourages us to confront our errors head-on, to analyze what led us astray, and to extract valuable lessons from those missteps. Think about a scientist in a lab. An experiment doesn't go as planned. Do they sweep it under the rug? Of course not. They study the results, identify the variables that went awry, and use that knowledge to refine their approach. Similarly, when we reflect on our own mistakes, we transform them from setbacks into opportunities for growth, for refinement, for becoming better versions of ourselves. So how do we cultivate this reflective mindset? It doesn't require a lab coat or a telescope, but it does require carving out time in our busy lives to pause, to contemplate, and to engage in honest self-assessment. Start by incorporating small moments of reflection into your daily routine. Perhaps it's journaling at the end of the day, reviewing your progress on a project, or simply taking a few minutes to quietly contemplate your thoughts and emotions. The key is consistency. The more we practice reflective thinking, the more ingrained it becomes in our mental framework, transforming us from passive participants in our own lives to active architects of our own destinies. As we conclude our exploration of critical thinking, remember this: it's not merely a set of skills to be learned, but a mindset to be fully embraced, a lifelong journey of curiosity, skepticism, and intellectual humility. By incorporating these strategies, questioning assumptions, evaluating sources, analyzing logical fallacies, seeking diverse perspectives, and practicing reflective thinking, you empower yourself to navigate the complexities of our world with greater clarity, wisdom, and purpose. Remember, critical thinking is not just a skill, but a mindset. It empowers us to approach problems with curiosity and reason. Thank you for watching Wisdom, the Narrow Way. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Let's continue to apply philosophical principles to navigate today's challenges wisely. See you next time.